Okay, so if you are perfectly sensitive to interest rates, right, this actually tells us the country will have some fixed interest rate at all levels of income. So when you plan the answer, you quickly sketch. This is your LM curve. Whether your income is Y0 or Y1. Right, so a typical analysis is income goes up, money demand should go up. So that will exceed money supply. Okay, and interest rates should increase. But, right, H2 is infinite. If you increase interest rate, there will be a massive demand for FA. And therefore, financial institutions cannot cope. Right, and therefore, interest rate can remain at I1. So we don't have to over-explain. We just need to highlight that in this case, it was horizontal because, right, there will be massive demand for FA. Financial institutions cannot cope. So interest rate will remain at I1. If you actually are clear, it's actually via government increase money supply to meet money demand. So examiner only expect you to draw one diagram, but the answer came from money market. So this answer seems similar to question 5. Money demand equals money supply. Right, but it doesn't want you require you to draw that. So you just need to highlight the analysis. Why interest rate cannot go up? Because household or individuals are perfectly sensitive to interest rate. There will be massive demand for FA when interest rate goes up. So the financial institution cannot cope. They can't determine who to sell to. Right? So in this case, what would they do is they will keep interest rate at RE1. So how can then the money market be restored? Government increase money supply. Then interest rate goes. Okay? Then the other part of it is H2 is infinite because of high risk of FA. So you prefer to hold money. So why is there high risk of FA? Because interest rate is already near zero. Right? Okay, so what is a liquidity trap? It's a scenario that people prefer to hold money. They feel that the banks are not doing well, the economy is not doing well. So H2 is infinite. They are very sensitive to interest rate. They know that if interest rate were to drop further, the economy will collapse. Right? So high risk of FA, they prefer to hold money as interest rate is near zero. Okay? And plus the fact that economy, right, is in deep recession. Okay, so we will quickly just sketch. So if we want to draw this LM, first we must know the I1 must be near the zero axis. Secondly, we must know if you want to describe the economy in a deep recession, you must have a YN. This is full employment, but you must be very far away from it. Y prime. So this is your deep recession. So in other words, the LM will only be horizontal until point B. Beyond that, it will be upward sloping. Okay? So in other words, you have to explain. You are currently at Y0. So if income increase from Y0 to Y prime. It's the same analysis as the one on the right, on the left. Right? You want to describe the LM, you want to describe interest rate. You will always trigger income to increase. Okay? Money demand, again, will go up. But interest rate cannot increase as economy, okay, economy at point, this is A and B are still in deep recession. So you can't raise the interest rates. Okay, so interest rate will remain at I1. Okay, then you may want to suggest, okay, take another 2 points here. So this is the liquidity trap, right? A situation that people choose to hold money during a deep recession, interest rate near zero. So you have briefly explained the same phenomenon on the one with this one on the left, but highlighting why interest rate cannot go up, because whether you are at A and B, you are still in a recession. You can't raise interest rate. Right? Firms will not borrow at all. But you may mention, however, if income increases, but it was from Y1 to Y2. Okay, then in this case you could see money demand increase and result in increased income. Right? So conclusion, the LM is only horizontal, right, from income 0 to Y prime, and not all levels of income. So this is how you contrast your answer. Just now you said interest rate is fixed at all levels of income, because everybody is very sensitive to interest rate. But here you highlight, okay, how income at very low interest rate is I1. But if income is much higher, it means you go beyond, you have come up from the deep recession, okay, interest rate can go up. So if interest rate can go up, LM is not horizontal anymore. Income interest rate goes up, LM is up. And that's where you comment. Okay, the answer is false because LM, okay, is horizontal, not for all income, only from this zone, 0 to Y5. Right? So in other words, examiner is expecting quite a demanding answer from students. One that explains fixed interest rates, one that explains the liquidity trap, and then the upward sloping LM. So this is quite a popular exam question, so make sure you master it well. But you don't just draw and say they look different. You have to explain why in both cases interest rate cannot go up. But yet for the second case, interest rate can go up if you are at a healthy zone. Look at your income Y1, Y2. It's near to Yn. That's a normal economy. Therefore, if you have a normal economy, banks dare to raise interest rate. Because the economy is recovering, firms need to borrow. So you can offer higher interest rates. Okay, so that was your question 6. So all the discussion here were on LM. With the exception of question 3, question 5, and question 6, that you see, they were actually practical approach. You need to draw. But no matter what, all the discussion was on money market. Although the focus was on the LM curve, slope and intercept. But the answers all came from money demand concept and about interest rate changing to actually correct the money market. Right? So make sure you study the LM well and don't just quote slope and intercept. The good answer is one that will rigorously discuss the money market adjustment. Okay? Then with that, let's look at question 4 and question 7. So LM when we actually cover LM, some of you may be a little bit intimidated. But in terms of exam questions, they are straightforward. But now if you look at question 4 and 7, they are not easy. If you actually compare all the 7 questions, the toughest actually came from 4 and 7. Right? because when you read through, you don't really get a sense what the question wanted, especially question 7. Okay, so let's look at question 7. There are 2 ways to solve question 7. I will give you both methods, and it's best that you go home and try both. Then you could see which method is something that you are more confident to explain. Okay, so question 7, you are given investment drop. Investment can drop due to I bar drops or interest rates goes up. So the question never say anything, right? The question merely mentioned there's a fall in desired investment. So which is your investment level drops. But it could be fixed investment goes down, right? For example, right, political instability in Thailand, right? That will cause your I bar to drop. Firms lose confidence, right? They saw that tourism drops by hundreds of thousands a week. They decide maybe months later they will pull out. Okay, so that is I bar. Or it could be interest rate goes up, and that will be cost of borrowing. Okay, so in this case, I bar goes up, down, AE will go down, income will go down. So why do I say there are 2 methods? Because if you discuss income and interest rate, you will discuss IS curve. Alright, you will actually discuss the IS curve to show that there was a movement along IS. The second method is to look at I bar and AE, and this is to discuss multiplier. So there are actually 2 methods to approach this question. So every time when the question is long, write down the cause, take 1 step and reflect the trigger point. Alright, so the question wants you to discuss income drop, but it will be greater when there is proportional tax versus when there is lump sum tax. So you have to compare. Alright, you compare either 2 different IS. So from here you further branch out. Okay, look at the IS function. If T is T bar, you know slope of IS is 1 minus C1 minus D1 over D2. That would be the standard slope. But you know the question asks you to compare proportional income tax. Then you know slope of IS would be 1 minus C1 minus B1 plus C1 T1. So I actually think through how my answer will look like. If I were to discuss IS and I want to compare income change, I must have different slope of IS. Right? Then I can draw and show the different impact. If not, I will discuss the multiplier with and without the lump sum tax. Okay? I'll discuss to show you in a minute. So this is the question. Not easy. Not like the previous question, when you read through, the cause and effect was clear. This one you have to make a little guess. Right? You have to take 1 step back to consider what makes investment drops. So let's look at the first method.